are rich in oil. There is an oil fight because Russia is sanctioned, and the only countries who can supply the oil are Saudi, Qatar, and the UAE. So think about it for a moment. If these people call out the countries for having poor rights, and then the countries said, you know what, we don't give a fuck, we have our money. Yeah, United States care about your human rights. Tina Sosalangama, Muslim beliefs, will still oppress gays, will still oppress.
This is the Born Freeze Podcast.
This is the Born.
Back with another episode. Shit. Welcome back to another episode of the Born Freeze Podcast.
Fuck you, son. Fuck you. Fuck you, but fuck you. Fuck you. Thank you so much, Jay, for this been liking, comment. But I don't need to come back the whole night.
Yeah. Back with another episode of the Born Freeze Podcast. I'm your host, Olane, and I got cool tea. Fanda, skip on the cool. For the introduction.
Hey, the song is just released. It's trash, dog. It's trash, man.
New single, Ken Worms, featuring an artist I signed named
yeah.
Not like signed, but like make stamp. Nah, it's just like someone I'm working with.
I pay mama tracks there.
I pay mama tracks in
Ini
16 bucks.
Babu 16 yamqaba. 16 yamqaba.
Maybe mara 16 bucks low Elite Entertainment doesn't do that. He's a producer, so I was just looking for new ways to like
producer introduce him. Hip hop pen.
No. Mara ngithu yalenza piano. Angithanda ukukhulumela umuntu. Just in the description, go to my profile, first post, most recent post, go to his profile and listen ambuza.
Oh, uzofaka profile yakho yes. Uzofaka profile yakho ku description.
Yeah, kuzomele uyifake like
kuzomele ngifake
enye futhi ezinto ezimangaza ukuthi uyaposta uya release angitheko abantu bayabuza who's this guy kumele ngilanda abantu kuma comment manje ngithume ngibe ne team ezohlala kuma comment this is cool team for usitheke
how do you guys
ukuza la mahandi usitheke
how do you guys make money
baba uwo spotlight namhlanje
yeah how do you guys make money
outside my performance, it's more of like it's either on a match or via streams.
Oh, it's the same thing as YouTube
because into more maringo music which you only get paid like if you have ownership
of the music.
Yeah, of the beats mostly.
So sometimes you guys don't have the ownership.
Aye, baba, so we register the music so we get paid.
Yeah, so how much have you gotten that from? Which platforms pay?
Spotify, like any there's a major streaming services. The Spotify's, Apple's, YouTube.
So they've paid you already.
Yeah, I do get imali go PayPal, but I don't withdraw the money from PayPal, cause like I'll just say it's business. So I get imali streams and then I reinvest the money via like promotion.
Sure.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
So
I don't.
Spotify pays your PayPal account.
No, Spotify pays a distributor yako and then a distributor yako. If you don't pay distributor yako, the distributor takes a share and then.
Also, you have a distributor.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
why isn't it the same with podcasts?
So music needs a clearance. So it's easy go music ukuthi ngirelease ngoma ngithi featuring Drake and then ithola ama streams ngoba bayenzani ku music more release. If u Drake automatically leyo ngoma izothola ama views abaya ngoba izo playlistwa profile la Drake already nama fans abaya. So if uthe u Drake banida aqala ukuthi baya clear ne team ka Drake ukuthi kunengoma entsha ezayo as Spotify kunengoma entsha ka Drake ezayo feature Cool T. Is this on Drake's profile or is it just a scheme so ukuthi again a traction? So if it's maybe 3 weeks before release, unless most of release are SoundCloud or monetize.
Yeah. Or SoundCloud very just for exposure.
Yeah, namanje nje ngafaka ingoma nge-release.
Yeah.
Marabo Spotify, Apple, they are very.
So how much have you made from your music career since you started?
I don't know. I don't know ngoba imali njengoba ngisho ukuthi mayingena I just send it back, and mostly ngithola imali ngama-dollar or ngama-pounds. So I've never really like used imali ngapha.
Because maybe there's someone who also wants to get into music.
Yeah,
Like you know I'm getting.
Mari into nje ngizokutshela yona ukuthi don't expect anything solid unless you've made at least like 1 million streams in one platform. Meaning give than on any artist, because akusama streams engiwathengile or it's just like organic. So yeah. And then ngapha asinawo ama-streams njengangani. So yeah, the streaming figures.
On one of the episodes, dog, you mentioned that you atheist.
Yeah, I'm atheist.
I remember at the time when you said it, I remember we speaking about Travis Scott, if I'm not mistaken. It was Travis Scott after the incident that happened, And then when you said it, I said Travis Scott is atheist, and you said, no, I'm atheist.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand what it means. But until
atheist.
when people really speak about it, I'm atheist, what does it really mean to be atheist?
Atheist is not believing. Like, it's not believing there is a higher God. It's not even believing in science, if you are true to atheist, like atheist beliefs. Like, being atheist means I don't believe, and the reasons why I don't believe is 1, 2, 3. So, khona abantu aba agnostic, I think. When you're agnostic is you realize ukuthi there is a creator, but you don't buy into like the Muslim creator. You just believe ukuthi there is a creator somewhere. But you don't like pinpoint ukuthi the creator is God or the creator is Allah or in.
What made
and
you
then more
atheist?
atheist, you don't just believe. So in religion, I think it's taken out of context from what it is. So in religion, if you can look at like how it has been used in Africa compared to how it is used in Europe, you'll see the mass and the difference. Because like Africa, we got a religion, and especially Christianity, and right now says like the Muslims and what is there as a way to like colonize people. One, I felt to anything that comes like from the creator will never be misused. So that's why abantu aba misuse amanzi or umoya or ihlahla unless mabazikhatha. You understand? So there is no direct harm. Unlike a religion, ngoba if I think it's a Swati or Ndebele or a Zimbabwe or a Mozambique story. There is a guy who came to Africa, he knew ukuthi 7 days before he spoke to the people like about only land, which there will be the solar eclipse. That's science. He went to the people and said, give us like your belongings, or our God is going to punish you. So the people felt the punishment was coming via the sun, and the eclipse, so they gave away their things. Maybe eclipse like for 1 hour. Like as the moon turns red. Every time an eclipse moon the moon turns red. Because the moon and the moon reflection it reflects reflection, it reflects. So I saw more we trace religion, no we trace science, which it has a reason for existence. Science exists to disprove a religion. Ngoba science, anything a good religion, ikhona ku science, kun alternative ku science. Bakhulume the Big Bang. eBhayibhelini let there be light. In science it's the Big Bang angithi. Kwaba like abantu. In science it's evolution. eBhayibhelini sitshela ukuthi we are all from Adam and Eve. So almost everything in science is to disprove a religion. And if I don't believe in religion, I can't believe in science. But science depends on the existence of a religion. Without the religion, science wouldn't be important. So in exist, it will not be important. So if like nobody cared who created the earth, both religion and science wouldn't exist. Pesgwa loco, it's information. I saw ukuthi already in status quo it's easy to manipulate information it's like so ngeza kuwe ngithi le cup li blue and usihluphuze ngekomishini li blue wakho la afa ane and then you take the information we change like 3 or 4 people down the line so indaba yokuthi blue cups kill people and the into engishilo ukuthi le cup li blue sihluphuze ngecup li blue ashona. So you see ukuthi communication it's easy to break down, the information is very easy to sell. So nezinto ezibhalwe eBhayibhelini, they sound believable, Mari. If you can think, yeah, yonke into esisiyenzile so far as human beings, it's been more of like selfish acts more than educating people. So even if there was a time where bekunabo Samson, nabo Sibanibani, I believe it's not what we are reading in the Bible. So yeah.
And also, piano has saved more lives than gospel. But it's true. Think about it.
And the religion is it's a mental state. It's not physical. So we can say I'm Christian. Ushate nomuntu Christian, niwe nomntwana, your child's supposed to be Christian. But if you can take that child umkhulise Europe, there is a higher chance they may change religion. Unlike mangithi ngimnyama, umnyama. If you have a child nomuntu omnyama, lo mntana noma ungamkhulisa States, they'll still be black. Noma ngayaphi, they'll still be black. So khona izinto esikwazi ukuzichange, khona izinto esingakwazi ukuzichange. Yeah.
Shit. So I heard a story of how Zimbabwean people, when they come this side, I was a crocodile. Yeah, I'm a crocodile. But so what happens is, so obviously they don't have their passport, so they have to cross through the river. So Sizovaya, and then before we get to the border, the ones that don't have their passports go through the river.
Yeah, and as we pass Leama before, maybe a few kilometers before.
Yes. And then they don't cross over like immediately. So if they get there, they get there around 2 p.m. They'll have to wait until 9 p.m. because you don't just cross any time. You cross between. I don't know the reason why you don't just cross any time, but I know it has to be between 3 a.m. and 9 p.m. Those are the time to cross.
Okay. So
they get there, and then obviously if they get there at 2, they'll have to sleep until 3. And there's other routes they can take, Amahlati, but they don't go through the bushes because it's not safe. They get raped. You pay to cross over by getting raped. Am I making sense? Yes. So the river one, you pay 50.
Is it the push? Is it the soldier one? Is it the one where you pay the border patrollers? They say
no, that one it has criminals. So those people that then come and then they own the territory. Like me and you. Let's say we stay in Zimbabwe. Then they cross in.
Via Limpopo.
Yes, we stay in Limpopo. And then when they cross, we see this one is beautiful. And then we get that one and then we rape it. Very opportunistic. So the river one, you pay $500.
500 rands.
Yeah, 500 rands. And then so they all give this person that is gonna help them cross, right? So if you have ancestors, if you have to take coins and throw them in the river and ask that. Remember, people that are ancestral, and they have a calling. They can just get taken from. Yes, that. So Kreleza in a way, you're asking for a proper journey. So they throw that in the river and then they ask. And then this guy puts something in his mouth, right? And then he goes into the river to check if it's, I don't know how the guy checks if it's safe to cross, right? And then he checks and then it's like, okay guys, we can cross. And then they hold hands. So this guy's put something in his mouth and he doesn't say anything. So they hold hands. When they hold hands, they don't go in a straight line. They have to do C or S. You understand?
Yeah, I know why.
Why?
Crocodile, zigzag, it's just it's basic. It's crocodile was so when you are in an S shape, normally in land straight. But
what if it's coming from this direction?
As long as the number is zigzag,
yeah, so and then they go into the river. They say when they're holding hands, if one of the people in the line goes like okay, we're holding hands.
Yeah.
There's someone. If you go, I hold the next person, and we continue. We don't even look at you, dog. We don't even look at you. We continue, and then you don't step. You slide. So you slide your feet, you slide your feet, you slide your feet until you get to the
Yeah,
other
and
side.
also that's also another way to avoid amacrocks. But if you step, you can jump and step on top. Unlike if you slide. But if like we are slide on a flat surface and then you reach an object, most we carbs we use. Unlike if you step, my guns we voice.
Why don't they just get their passport, dog?
For me, it's more about there is something so Uti, as a South African citizen, most where a China or anywhere, any other country in the world, more passport, reason for visit, time for visit. We should apply the permanent residence. And they apply the permanent residence if you it's either shadile or usengomsebenzi or usenge sport or in a school. So if lo muntu lo usuke ngale uzophanda ngapha, it becomes very hard. Another thing which is very, very surprising for me, ane ukuthi Africans preach Ubuntu, but they have borders. Whereas I think it's Switzerland, Denmark, what they don't have a border. Like ungajump border ngebicycle ubuye in the morning. Bangacela the passport. I don't know. Bengibukele Amazing Race and this happened. I think it was in Switzerland and Denmark or something. But the guys were riding bikes like bapum yabona njengala nje starting and really border uyabuya. Maybe it's because their countries are rich and like
so, but dog, if we didn't have borders, the mess that was gonna.
I don't think the border is an incentive for people not to come or for people to come. Like just think about it for a moment. Fana John with my city, if it's in Concord, like we will not realize it.
Yeah.
If we didn't have borders, as Fana John. Asna border between toll gates, asna border between Gauteng and KZN.
Why? Tell me, dog. Why is it that the war in Russia and Ukraine is still continuing? Because I'm thinking to myself when I was checking, I thought it's something that ended a long time ago. I think it started early this year, ne? And now it's still continuing. It's like 200 and something days of the war continuing. And I'm thinking to myself, if that war is still, I don't know what the war is about, maybe you do know and you'll explain, but if the war is still continuing, what does it mean for people like us if we were to get into a war with USA? Who's going to help us? Like if they're not able to save Ukraine or they're not
It's not that they're able to save Ukraine, they don't want to save Ukraine.
Why?
They don't want to save Iraq, they don't want to save... okay, think about it for a moment.
Wait, before you go there, what is the war about?
So, I'm not really sure, but the war for Russia is about its territory.
Okay.
So, it's almost like us trying to reclaim Lesotho, because Lesotho was once part of like South Africa.
Yeah.
And then because of what, I think...
And then Swaziland?
Swaziland was... Swaziland.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I'm saying Swaziland.
Eswatini.
Yeah, we are wrong for calling it Swaziland.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the kingdom of Eswatini.
Yeah, Eswatini.
Okay.
So I don't know which is the kingdom of Eswatini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you have to understand, it's the same thing with the Iraqi war states. First things first, Europe, the power controllers in Europe, even though it's UK, Britain, France, Italy, and Russia. So any other country in Europe, it's lower than these countries. If there is any war that comes from either of the 5 countries that I've quoted, that it is against like Switzerland, Denmark, Czech Republic, Ukraine, those small European countries which are still rich, these other 4 are supposed to act even before the United States. So states are blame, like they are very far from the war. And I blame countries such as Germany, England, France, and Italy, because these are countries who are near the war. And these are countries who have the resources to stop the war, but they are not stopping the war.
Why?
So just think about it I don't know why. Maybe it's beneficial to them. All guns which are circulating in the world are from the United States. The United States is the first country to say we will never have a World War 40. but they have the highest gun rate. You understand?
Mm.
So, bas keep a system in a system by support. Cocaine in the United States was used as a way to make money for the government.
Mm.
And yet United States is the number one country in cocaine. So these big countries can stop these wars. The people in power are gaining financially from the wars. So they don't see any.
Dog, you know, I always think about myself. I always think about it like this world, you know. I think there's a lot of hidden things that we don't know.
I won't say
about.
they're hidden. It's just like they are so extreme. They are removed from people who are living basically in society. So if in society, like you like to think about ideas, then also understand and you'll see the loopholes.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you won't.
So
If like uphile lokusurvive,
yeah.
sure ukuthi umuntu osejozi is ukuthi abone issues with gay rights and none, unlike umuntu oseNatal who's focused on getting a toilet. So you understand.
So are you then saying that making people poor and people from
It's separation.
It's a separation so that
power ingatholeki is. It's just like it's basic separation in politics rules.
So the rumors that the Queen owns South Africa, are they true?
It's not entirely true. South Africa is part of the Commonwealth countries, and the Commonwealth countries abide under the Queen. So I won't say she owns it, but we are part of. Zimbabwe's it's the Commonwealth group. The Commonwealth, there is something we need to understand. You know? I say it's good with South Africa is portrayed as a country that is following the big countries. Gain our investors and international recognition. You try the most to make sure you capitalize for your citizens. So if South Africa be I don't care in Zimbabwe, the government would not have a mandate to build an RDP. I do concede to the fact that there are a lot, and I mean a lot of people abang in our RDP, but I also do concede to the fact that there are people who've been helped by the RDP system. You understand? So if we were not in the Commonwealth, not in the G20, not in the United Nations, the ANC bengagimen indaba nokakama ama-RDP bese toyitoya sizesithanda njengaseNorth Korea. eNorth Korea ngisho ubukele ne-movie one ephume e-America. Ngoba abanandaba noku-abide to ama-laws abo-United States.
Commonwealth system makes it mandatory for
people to engage. Yeah, ngoba it was the same organization which assisted South Africa in HIV at the time where even the president of the country was denying which HIV exists. Thabo Mbeki in his first 3 or 4 years denied which HIV exists and which HIV is like a very complex thing. HIV mayicala like South Africa, it used to be almost like a pandemic during COVID. Like we didn't have information. That's why mayicala. I think I said it in a previous podcast,
but we didn't get to upload it.
HIV, like it was once called a gay disease, or it was called a black man's disease. So about isn't a stereotypes, people followed the stereotype. That's why I'm an advert from I think 2004 to the World Cup, being able to scrutinize the condoms, it was to educate abantu about HIV, Yeah.
So I feel like there's a dark world that people don't know when it comes to power and everything, and so what danger would it do if people knew that? Like if people knew some of the things that you're saying about
the danger is the people in power will lose power and money. If you look at it, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, those countries, Abu Qatar, they have poor human rights. Qatar
is in Dubai.
No, Qatar, Dubai is Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay.
So Abu Dhabi is Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah, so law my country law my country Middle East.
Okay.
My country law my desert.
Yeah. Why do they wear that?
It's their cultural.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So those countries have poor human rights, especially for women. Ngoba Saudi namanje angazi nesobane World Cup in Qatar November December. Mari, gay rights are not something that is supported in those countries. Think about it for a moment. Sizoba ne World Cup in a country that doesn't support gay rights in 2022. A World Cup, the biggest sports event in the world. It's going to be hosted in a country that has poor human rights. And you need to think, who are the people who give power to hosting, and also what are the benefits for those people in power. Lama country are rich in oil. There is an oil fight because Russia is sanctioned. And the only countries who can supply the oil are Saudi, Qatar, and the UAE. So think about it for a moment. If these people call out the countries for having poor rights, and then the countries said, you know what, we don't give a fuck, we have our money. Yeah, United States care about your human rights. Tina Sosalangama, Muslim beliefs will still oppress gays, will still oppress. You can't have a gathering yabo mama kuphela engenababa oyi-supervisor. I know
Qatar.
Yeah, in those countries.
You said Qatar,
Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. Yeah. They need a male to supervise. You don't show skin more, mama. WWE, the American company, they're wrestling. They host a tournament in Saudi Arabia. Ama out as wrestling along ama underband. There was ama outfits amantombazana se wrestling. They don't wear those outfits amantombazana se wrestling. Njalo bagcoka ama leggings amade iskip awugcoki neskip esingaka mama ugcoka iskip eside. Inwele sihlezi sifasile. So yabonga ukuthi basase with those like tribalistic cultural views. Mari the first world countries such as United States, Britain, Italy, France, China, Russia are accepting them because bafuni oil. So we are born which while a country are oppressive, even though unlike Ghana. If Ghana or South Africa or Zimbabwe were to implement the same rules, they will face harsh sanctions. But no one is trading with Ghana anymore. Our investors, our companies are pulling out from Ghana. Reasons being why imports about Ghana is not it's not as high as the oil about Saudi Arabia.
So let's come back to South Africa. Do you see a great future for South Africa, or do you think it's a monopoly capital? I don't even know what that
a monopoly capital is when like one person or one group is in control. So a monopoly in South Africa, example is Eskom. It's the monopoly the electricity providers. They are only maybe like for a certain complex or a certain estate or a certain region. City power. Eskom is the national. So my problem with SA is until people like realize what they need and what they don't need, we won't have a change. We talk politics when it's elections. We talk politics when there is a scandal. We talk politics when we don't talk politics on a daily. So the reason why South Africa fought apartheid, why black South Africans fought apartheid, is because it was a daily job. There was someone campaigning, there was a strike, there was a referendum, there was a message that umamwini bekawafunda every week abuya nawe ejele from uMandela. There was meetings ekasi about ukuthi like when is our next strike, what are we doing to combat or to fight oppression. The same thing should be existing khona manje ukuthi how we daily engagements with how are we tackling youth unemployment, how are we making sure ukuthi black kids have sanitary pads in school, especially females. It annoys me ukuthi we can highly appreciate abo Tusombedu and we can fund abo Uncle Wafus, we can fund ama festivals, but we fail to find a 13 or 14-year-old to give them like a sanitary pads eskolweni. Like it makes no sense ukuthi uCyril Ramaphosa uzoba ne-escort yama Range Rover i6 mara khona umntwana osesikoleni esi-under uCyril Ramaphosa ongenawo ngisho nama-pads just to sustain the day esikolweni. So that's why ngitshela ukuthi like the poor lifestyle is a way to separate people. Ngoba mangathi uthatha ukubheka anyone who's very poor akanandaba ukuthi government yenzani or ukuthi tax injani or ukuthi price ithini. When am I putting bread on the table? Are we eating namhlanje? Am I getting to work kusasa? The basics. And then these guys bona nje banenkinga ukuthi the inflation rate ukuthi idatha lizodura nani. So uyabona ukuthi ama priorities because awafani. Then we can't fight for the same thing.
So you spoke about tax and you said tax
shows it's a system which we own in.
Explain that.
For example, if a female farmer khona manje uhlala eNatal umamndebele nabantwana bayi6 umamndebele uyavuka atshale amakhabishi nani nje ama-fruits. Lawo ma-fruits makawalanda azowaletha endlini azoza the way asuke ngakhona le. By the time afika endlini if uthatha amakhabishi ayi2 namhlanje ama-orange ayi6 nama-apple ayi3 mawafika endlini the number is still the same. She's the owner. Mari if umama Ndebele bekaye Pick n Pay athenga the same thing abuya nazo endlini, the price she used or the price she used to pay, it's not the same because kune tax angithi. The tax shows ukuthi whatever you bought it's not yours. 1, 2, akusindaba zokuthi government is making money nani. It's just a way to show people ukuthi you don't own shit. Phone, anything in a tax you don't own. Ngisho ngesalary into bengibonisa yona ukuthi mangathi uthatha ukubheka abakubhadaleli labor abakubhadalela isikhathi ngoba khona manje singathini maybe sithini umuntu akhindlu akhindlu and then bathi akaholi bathi bhidlizana indlu noma leyo ndlu engabhidlizwa we will never repay lesikhathi lo muntu asebenzisile sokwakha leyo ndlu. I20 minutes empilo yakho important ngoba kuyekho umuntu ozoyibuyisa. That power to not control time is very important because time is the one currency which everyone has. Ngoba like ungamthola umuntu ozogugela isitini ozorakhela indlu mara leso sikhathi abazosebenzisa it's so invaluable ngoba ngeke usireplace. That person could be doing something far more great or far more valuable than ukwakha indlu. Maybe he could be doing something, maybe teaching his kid, and his kid could be the next one to identify a pill or a medication that can like heal all diseases. Angeke usazi isikhathi somuntu how it could have been used. So we pay you ngoba the alternative is it's like a fight.
So what would happen if they're saying there's no tax?
It's very complex. It's very complex. People will have ownership of things. If there was no tax, people will have ownership of things. But think about it. I'm an artist, nani. The reasons why in South Africa most artists baba nenking it's because they owe SARS. I'm a business. The reason why they go bankrupt is because we couldn't pay our tax this year or our tax is high, nani. And if you think about it for a moment, how do you as Lani water we promote nani? And now just because you're selling to 700,000 South Africans, you must pay tax.
So I don't own the Lani water.
So you own Lani water, Mari. Must pay the system in. Systematically, you don't own it. Now I'm a profit, Mara watoli wong, and then you do all the work. Most successful businesses or companies don't even have a government like the government involved or even government incentivizing individuals. Most of the time, it's just like personal.
There was an episode that I did with Lunga, but we didn't release it because we didn't get the footage and everything. And I was saying to Lunga, and I want you all just to close up the show because this was more like a master class. I said to Lunga, Tusumbe, to Trevor Noah, Black Coffee, who else? Master KG, okay, not Master KG, but Tusumbe, to Trevor Noah,
the
Black Coffee.
The South Africans are banning.
Nestis is not that. But is he as big as Black Coffee internationally?
No.
Exactly. So, Tusumbe, to Black Coffee and.
Oh no, nalo sister that
is not that big.
She's big.
No, he's not that. She's not that big.
She is.
She's not that big. What's her name again?
King
as Tusumbetu or as Black Coffee is what? Nomzamo Bata
yeah,
big
coming
as
to Africa too.
no, even if it's just one hit
Mr. Ring,
wonder. No,
Mr.
one hit
Ring,
no one hit
Mr.
one
Ring,
one
Nyambela.
hit wonder. One
Mr.
hit
Ring.
wonder. One hit wonder. So Trevor Noah, now let's focus on Trevor Noah too.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Nomzamo Bata
yeah.
is
Okay.
one hit wonder, dog.
Okay.
If we check Nomzamo Bata and Thuso Mbedu, then you see the conversation is different.
Manje.
The conversation is different.
Manje.
The same Nomzamo Bata
Ukubule
is
phanda ngithi.
what?
Nomzamo.
No.
Akekho.
No. Not unless you're speaking about the one that's gonna get released.
Usoba khona.
I don't know.
Hey mara.
Ngizwa ngabo mina
Nani
le.
yabuza?
I don't know. I don't think she's there. She's back at home shooting Shaka Zulu. That shows that she had a failed career in the
Shaka
US.
Zulu fake career.
No, but back at home, dog.
Yeah,
Do you think Thuso Mbedu would come back and shoot Gomorrah?
mara ngabuya zomshoot uShaka. uShaka different than iGomora. Think about it.
Dog.
uShaka mangafika estates bathi uphuma up South Africa uthi amZulu. Ba understand ukuthi Shaka like bayamfunda uShaka Zulu uyacafa ku history yabo.
Yeah, but what you
iGomora bayifundi.
Yeah, you're missing my point, ngithi mina. When you imagine Trevor Noah coming back here and taking Skumba's job at KFM. It's a failed career. You can't move from there and come back here. It's like Thuso Tau coming back here and
I understand.
Yeah, coming back and playing for Sundowns or Kaizer Chiefs.
Especially if we say like I think that is like line late. We say success it's reaching mad and then being up.
It goes back to what I was saying before. So I was saying to Lunga, Nomzamo Bata, Trevor Noah, Thuso Mbedu, and all our South African people that are doing great in the US are not doing anything to benefit the South African people. Why? When Trevor Noah is moving from South Africa to do the Daily Show in the US, couldn't Trevor Noah find a way of getting a South African Daily Show?
He did. He found a way to take South Africans to the Daily Show.
No, don't take South Africans to the Daily Show. Bring people from the US to South Africa. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there is something I learned. I was given this as like a class scene. Given a video. So we were watching a video. So this guy had so just take these 4 bottles as bottle actually with Maynards.
Okay.
Maynards are
sweet, yes.
And then this is an empty bottle. So it states listen. So in each bottle there's like, let's say 500 sweets. And each 100 represents 1 million of like a population. So this is the empty cup. This is the United States. So the United States randomly takes 1 sweet every year from this bottle to the States as a way to like address poorness in these countries. Understand what as we are taking that 1 sweet to the States, we are saying it's supposed to change this entire thing. These 4 bottles are gaining more population. So you taking the 1 million doesn't change anything. Tina, what we have to establish, do we go to the States as a way to gain individual wealth, or do we want to go to the States as a way to improve the system of our countries? But if we are going to the States to improve, it's not valuable. Every year I-10 because of population.
So what needs to happen for us to get a South African Trevor Noah that won't go to the US to be well established?
We want a South African John Cena. We want an African Spider-Man. We want for example, Europe doesn't have a European Shaka Zulu. Europe doesn't have a European Jacob Zuma. Europe doesn't have a European Kwame Nkrumah or a European Egypt. We are trying to be the USA of Africa. Nigeria is trying to be the Britain of Africa. We as ourselves, we need to look deep and find our own roots and be proud of that.
So you're saying I can't be Trevor Noah and be well-established, a well-established comedian internationally, because now he's not only in the US. No, listen to what I'm saying. You can never be Trevor Noah and be well-established around the world without having to go to the US.
I'm saying you can, but you need to find a way that you don't need the states, but the states needs you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I'm saying, that them leaving doesn't mean doesn't make
They have to have the
anything.
reason yokuhamba. So your reason yokuhamba kungabe ukuthi we are going to, if uTrev uyasuka namhla yabona njengaxolani ne podcast, if uyasuka uye States, ungasuka uye States uthi I'm going to the States to improve the wealth of Africa. If uye States udla imali yakho ufuna ukuyenza imali e-States. But if uthi wena ufuna ukuye States as a way increase wealth yase-Africa, then you're just fooling yourself.
Because you can't do that.
It won't happen. Noma kungayenzakalani, it won't.
So we'll never get to a point where the next comedian doesn't have to go to the US for them to be booked in a country they don't even know.
Ilento lengibuya kuyo ukuthi, what do we like? What is our criteria to identify success? Is success reaching the States, or is success like impact? Think about it. Kune group abathi BTS.
I don't know.
Korea. Baculi pop, baculi pop music nje. It's some dumb music. I say it's dumb music ngoba ngenza hip hop. Baculi pop.
Yeah.
By number one group in the world. Marabasa South Korea. They never needed the States. The States needed them because
but I don't know
it's TikTok. Do you want TikTok is famous?
Yeah.
BTS.
They made it famous.
Like by use
TikTok
music
famous.
wabo. Yeah. Lento le ama vida fast China. Sitama China. It's Koreans. Ngoba China bana TikTok. It's Koreans. They were using the video as so immediately states ibonile ukuthi there were people in Korea who were buying into that stuff. Now they bought into it so that kube indlela zokuthi nabo baqhubeke. Ngoba mangathatha ukubheka anything that is keeping states how can I say it, relevant is not from the States, but tata the best from the West. Tina, if we can find a way to make our best increase our West. Well, umuntu States, South Africa, excuse me, it's noma ngaba umuntu ophuwa njengothi usompeli umuntu okhulu ophuwa nani it's a 1%. Like it's a very few. Angeke uthole umuntu ophuma like straight emakhaya straight athi States. No. It's only the ones who we view as our best. Black Coffee. There is no DJ in South Africa so than Black Coffee. There is no comedian so than Travis States. South Africa.
For South Africans?
No, you understand. Kona manje, uqeda ukusho na ukuthi our number one comedian in South Africa Trav. And the reason why I see to number one is because he's going to the States. So not as normal people, we need to establish our fame is not gained by going to Casper Shilo. There are a few people in the States than there are Mabambuzang the States, but you are the African Drake at Drake is the American Casper. Why? Because his impact is to a larger population.
They ask Casper what?
Uguti, you are the Drake of Africa. His response is no, Drake is the Casper of the USA. What he's arguing for is his impact is to a larger population and a larger group of like different cultures. So it's harder for you to be impactful in Africa because we have different views. And once you have that impact of being like an African star, then to us that should be international and global recognition. There is no continent that is diverse and different as Africa. We have so many different beliefs in Africa, so much which if you can be liked by all of these individuals, to you that should be like international success more than you being like by Abantu States. What we are as in the Abantu States, and it's very direct, unlike in the Abantu Africa. There are people who listen to Nigerian music in South Africa. There are people who criticize Nigerian music in South Africa. Mari monga pe umuntu ofana no Burna Boy, no Davido, Casper, aka Wizkid. These are people who are famous in many African countries. And in those African countries, there are different cultures, which make it so hard to impact. But when you do, it should be highly valuable than AS States. What AS States which yini into abayifunayo. iPhone, yellow skin, proper English, ucedile, umnandi. Lezi zinto ezenziwa bonest. Africa, we want to see your African roots. That's why uBlakey are more famous in Africa than the States. That's why it's those kinds of things. Lady Smith, Black Mambazo. Lady Smith, Black Mambazo should be performing estates, but because their music directly speaks to Africans, that's why estates by my accolades, by my Ukraine, and then they come back to the country. Mina ngokwami Black Mambazo, it's way bigger than any other South African actor ke even bigger than Trevor Noah. Ngoba mongabheka, they get nominated kuma Grammy. They don't even attend. Bayakubonisa ukuthi that's not the success they value. Tina, once Unesty gets a nomination go Oscar, everyone is going to post about it. Everyone. Marmonga Pega, we have a lot of coaches about coaching sports, about Pumangai, about Eturgard, Middendorp, the one who's coaching the Pirates manager. But Pumangali, Mara Uboni, Ronaldo and post that high, now coach was a Portugal, coach Chiefs. Martina Sibeno Penny, actually now coach menu assistant, one common post deal, Penny's doing good, representing flying the country high. So we are born. Which our success is very like pinpointed.
And I heard you're not happy about Benny going to coach the
Who's coaching?
Ronaldo and them.
It's the philosophy of football and the philosophy of sports. I expect like if Castas Minyamanga retire at your coach ama athletes as a states, if a leon. Open to Pume Cape Town, open Pume Kasi. Penny should be finding ways to uplift the yes. They are taking the best from us. Upitu se Saudi. He's the best coach in South Africa. Skala Moguti, we don't have good grassroots coach. There's a coach, Abambiza Pep Guardiola, coach at Manchester City. He is also in the board as a Spain football. Reasons being, Uguti, he's the best coach as a Spain. So anything else, any input about Pep, it's better for Spain more than it is for Immense City. So anything with Pep as a issue, the Spanish Football Association is going to support because in which Spain should grow because it's the best as a Spain. I'm telling some African club. That's why I see I'm a coach Mamelodi Sundowns or the Simbona coach in Maritime coach number one with Sundowns. Menu I figure Sasim Tat. And then CB's a success, Leon. And then Marabuya City failed. Mari, if we can set up Indlela Zoguti, Tina Ngwe to see successful as Bading, it's just an incentive, then we can really establish what is success. What? Ngoba khona abantu aba-actor eChina obaz. The number one was Jackie Chan, Abu Bruce Lee, but there are movies who are doing way better than Black Panther. So what's in Jaswaza, as famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to everyone who's been watching. Please do not forget to like.